Good morning, laddies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Deku Had the Multiverse Bender's Powers. So, before we get started, let me explain what Multiverse Bender's powers could do. It allows the user to basically access the entire multiverse where he or she has alternate counterparts. Like, for example, Doomsday Zukus or Cinderblock Zuku. All of them. It's like you already connect with the entire multiverse versions of you. So, yeah. And you also have, when you have it, you actually have, everything. Past, present, future, beyond space and time, everything. So, yeah. But there is a limit to it. Sorry. Not sponsored coffee. But man, oh man. So, yeah. So, yeah. Basically, yeah. But he does have a quirk. So, don't worry. His quirk is limit fire. It is basically like his mother and his father's others powers, but mixed with limit, fused together. So he basically could control flames that are like super hot. Like, one dose of it could melt a person in an instant. Or like everything else. So, yeah. And I am throwing in Zumi so that add some carriage. Like caring about Zuko. Yeah. So, because this one, in this what if, yeah, quirkless are like basically makes $0. So basically, yeah. But yeah, Zuko is immortal, so, and plus us. So let's start things off. Them being born. Zuko is all happy. Him. So is Zumi. Him. And they decide to basically want to be pro heroes. Then at the age of 4, they went to a quirk doctor. He looks at Zumi first, tells her that she has fire manipulation. She could. But when he looked at Zuko, he says, "Sorry, Zuko, you can't become a hero without a quirk." So, yeah, the everyone enjoys, or actually, detects Zumi, like, or everyone likes Zumi more because she has a quirk of fire manipulation. And she also cares about her brother more. As, yeah. But he is happy that his sister is, if she goes to UA. So, yeah. His sister, like, yeah, cares about him. And, but his, yeah, when those days that when she's at school, or like, yeah, she goes to school, he walks around. Something tells him that he's glad that to be quirkless. Yes. But then a voice just keeps talking of, yeah, imagine him just like walking around as he could, like, the voices in his head was his own, like from another universe. But some of them are like, the basically like, how will I put this? Some of them are like talks to him as he wanted to get those voices out of his head. When he tried to, like, he grabbed a knife. Or like from a near garbage can thing. And he straight up stabs him in the chest. But the blade broke. As it, yeah. Some of you might think it's, and guess who it was? The body of Cinderblock. Yeah. As he looks at, or lifts his shirt up, as he sees a concrete, or like, yeah, Cinder, her block's chest, as he says, okay, this is what's going on with me. Need to go see a doctor, or there's something. Need some mental help. As he calls the quirk doctor, or actually, not calls the quirk doctor, he was like, as he's just pretends to just ignore it, as Zumi was quite curious about something. And yeah, his imagine trying to cover that with a small t-shirt. Yeah, as he's as something as as he went to the power doctor. It's a or ability doctor. It he represent like similar to a quirk doctor, but when he went in for a checkup thing, well, Zuko or so the power doctor was like, okay, Zuko, the well, how will I put this? You have the ability of multiverse bender. And Zuko wants to know what that is. Well, it's basically you are, or whoever has this ability, you could use, or you basically know everything about the entire universe, multiverse, everything. And basically, you could access their memories. And they could come or to be part of you. Basically, like your chest isn't actually your chest, the cinder block, or it came from a universe where you had a cinder block body, and you've what do you want to call those multiverse? As he starts trying to think, how about the what if universe? Because I have that top of my head thinking about it. Well, the cinder block that you inherit his chest was actually came from a universe that you may call what if you were cinder block. As he gets into details, if you watch someone else's what if Deku was cinder block, you would know what I'm talking about. So yeah. So when Zuko left, after he left, he went to a park to clear his mind. But his sister is worried about him. Or actually, she wasn't, because Zuko called, letting her know that he's going to the park to just relax. And she says, okay. Yeah. She's trying to be a big sister to him. Yeah. So, because Inko and Nasashi were ignoring him for a very long time. And, yeah, ignoring your little son, or the son, and that long is like, yeah. So he's trying to think. As he starts talking to himself. And who responds was none other than a Doomsday Zuko. Yeah, Doomsday Zuko was talking to him. Yeah, telling him that because actually, this is not just a Doomsday Zuko that some people remember from the other what ifs, the ones that, like, what if Deku was Doomsday? And he kills everyone on his world. It's not that kind of one. But he ends up, his body got, or actually in that other one, that's similar, but instead of going all rampage, his mother didn't know that he got captured for a long time. Yeah. So he starts trying to chat. Yeah. As he thinks this is weird. And he starts to tear up when he talked to the Doomsday Zuko. Yeah. And I forgot to mention Zuko, who, or actually in this universe, whoever has the abilities, like of time, space, everything, well, Zuko ends up becoming, or actually, whoever has the abilities or the attributes is like a worship and huns. But whoever has both the quirk and ability can basically make some basically into lifetime money. Basically, because that's how rare they are. Yeah. So they're legendary rare. If anyone or has them in the family, well, you know, or it makes Momo's like company, like Momo Federation, to, or the, yeah, pro heroes could be like bankrupt because how much money. Yeah, so basically whoever has the hat, or whoever has those kids, they are millionaires, or not even millionaires. sextillion tons and more than a richest person on earth. Yeah. As everyone's trying to, but they were like, oh man, I have a court kid, but that's okay. At least I have something. So yeah, because they aren't like slavery things. It's just, and yeah. So they're like boring. Yeah. So let's get back into this story. Yeah. So his sister goes to UA. And she tells him if he wants to come, um, um, but he doesn't want to. But he's not trying to be rude to his sister. But yeah. As Zumi understands, as she leaves, and yeah, so she gets one for all. Oh, and yeah, I'm giving her one for all because Zuko already has one for all. Every time he like tries to think about his like yeah. So because in the other alternate timeline, he was born with it. So yeah. So he practices. And yeah. So his parents kicked him out of the house. He walks by himself. Like always do. And yeah. He lives in a cardboard box. And yeah. So or actually he goes out to the country like beyond the limit thing as he asks Cinderblock version of himself if that's okay to use his powers to create a stone house. As Cinderblock is okay with it. And Zuko created, yeah, he made perfect house for and see statues of Cinderblock holding like buildings up and all that stuff. Yeah. As he says, we need some decoration. As, yeah, he decorates the entire inside. As, yeah. So, let's do a time skip. So, I'm skipping like internship, the Here's the Villains, USJ, the Sports Festival, internship, and Camp Park. All the way to the All Might versus All for One. At the Camp Park before, they kidnapped Zumi. And yeah. But All for One didn't know that Zuko or her brother had multiverse Bender's powers. So basically, yeah. And when he heard that his sister's in trouble, it irritated him. Like his body starts to change into a more ruthless. Yeah. As he starts running, or he jumped from his house all the way. Yeah. And Pro Heroes got to there. All my verse, All for One. All for One is about to use his laser. But then Zuko appears out of nowhere as he saved All Might's life. As Zuko, or actually, Zumi knows who he is. Hey, big brother, what's up? As everyone turns to him, looks at him, and says, wow, he really got some abilities. As All for One says, huh, I see. You actually do have a quirk. But what's this? Your name's Zuko, right? As a deep, dark voice comes from Zuko. Yeah, I am Zuko. And I'm here to kill you all for one, for hurting my sister. Yeah. As Zumi knows, or she doesn't know or she never knew that the Zuko was as that vicious. She never heard him use that monstrous voice. Yeah. As All for One and heard about the multiverse, or actually the All for One could sense this is a different personality than her brothers. May I ask you something? Which one are you? Which Zuko are you from? As she looks at All for One, and then as she says, or as All for One looks at Zuko and says that to him, as he says, Alright. I come from a dark universe where you ever heard of a multiverse that I became this? You're talking to the Doomsday Zuku. The one that you created. You and the Quirk Doctor created me. You killed my mother by shooting her in the head. You tortured me, ripped me to shreds, and now let me repay the favor of killing you and making you suffer for all eternity. As he starts going, and he ran up to All for One, grabs him by the arms, and ripped his arms straight off. And he grabs All for One's mask, rips his entire head off. All for One was brutally murdered by this monster, the Nomu, that couldn't be controlled by his own. Or as he calms down, as he turns around, looks at Zumi, and he said this: "You are Zuku's sister, right?" As she nods her head. Okay. Whoever's the sibling of Zuku's is also my sister, too. I'm gonna go back. As his body starts to, like, the spikes all over his his body went back into his body. His horns went back as it's painful. As Zuko, as when he lifts his head up, he says, "Sister, Ignis, you're safe." As it was pretty painful for her to watch him transform back into his. As she runs and hugs her brother, as he wanted to see her safe, as she couldn't believe that her own brother isn't actually human. Yeah. Whoever thought I was gonna say not her brother, but she ends up hugging him and telling him that can we just go home? As All for One regenerated, as he says, "You're not gonna leave here alive." As he says, "I beg to differ." As Zuko's fist transformed into cinder blocks, but with spikes. It's like a combined of the Doomsday Zuku with cinder block. Yeah. So he punched so hard right through the chest, stabbed All for One, and ripped, like, pierced right through his heart, pierced right through also his quirk, or all of the quirks that he had stored in his own body. Yeah. Zuko ends up yeah. He looks like Brock or is it Brock? Not or the from Mortal Kombat. If you guys don't know what I'm saying, I'll be right back. It looked like that. Yeah, pierced right through. Yeah. All for One was no more. As he says, sorry for you to see that, little sister. Okay? Yeah. And he still kept his quirk. As when he took her home, dropped her off, as he leaves, or like he left to go back to his house. Yeah. So he basically lives by himself in his own head. Basically, like, there's spirits of, like, him, everyone, and, like, every single person, like, what, there's ones that, or there was one that, like, what if Deku was Todoroki, one was Bakugo, one was, yeah. They were all spirits, like the souls of him. So they can't physically harm him, so yeah. And one of those was him. But when he saw the female version of himself, the like female version of Zuko, not Zumi, don't worry. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, ready? It was in one of the ones, I'm trying to think. Not Venom. No. No. Give me a moment. This one, the female Zumi or Zuko, was when they both locked eyes on each other's. He knows that she already understands how he feels. So he sits right next to her and asking her to go on a date with him. And so they did. They went and they got married. Yeah. Marrying to yourself is kind of disgusting, first of all. Yeah. Plus, the worst part was you the you are getting married to the monster. Yeah, that's the worst part. So he and yeah, the lab, or so the days after, of course, when Asashi got talked to by Nezu, that the or actually the lamb results from a power doctor or ability doctor came in on Zuko, and when he read the file, he couldn't believe that his own son has the ability of the to bend multiverse to him. So yeah, as Zuko was basically needed some heat, but the he can't generate his own as his hand caught on fire, but not like scorching him. As when he lays his fingers on a candle that he made, and the he it turns bright white, then back again, like when he's bending his fingers. As yeah, so the Quark Doctor shows up at his door as Zuko opens it, and Zuko took a test. Or actually, the Quark Doctor comes in, and he says, or actually, Zuko says, "Come on in. This is sorry for the mess of things, but the as ever as the Quark Doctor's like, man." Or in his head says, "Man, what are these?" Or so the Quark Doctor says, "You actually, reason why I'm here. Do you remember when at age of 4, when I told you that you were quirkless?" As the he says, "Yeah, you have a quirk." Or actually, Zuko, or no, the Quark Doctor says to him that you I lied about you not having a quirk. You actually do have a quirk. You could see it before you. You have limit fire. It's basically your mother's, your father's, and your sister's, but you also had the limit, so it fused together to create that. So you could control the limit of flames to make them really hot or really cold. Yeah. So so you're saying that he, you're saying that you lied to my parents, that the about not or me not having the quirk, right? Yes, you can become a hero. It's just I lied about that. Sorry about that. Okay? So yeah, as he and after like they had a conversation, as Zuko holds up one finger, he turns and he says, "Do you really want to kill everybody, don't you?" As the court doctor is confused of why, but then he remembered Zuko saying that he says this. Well, it seems like my flame, him quirk, the limit fire, isn't that powerful for my ability thing. My ability, I went to the ability doctor because in this alternate timeline, whoever has the ability name is like the upgraded quirk, so it's basically it's now permanently bonded to your DNA. All the way to your genetics. That's basically how powerful it is. So he explains that when you see me turn my head and talking to somebody, I'm not like talking to out of thin air. It's someone else is right next to me. Or of course, Zuko says, "Do you remember Doomsday Zuko, the one that ripped All for One to pieces and killed him, straight up murders him?" Yes, it was on the news all over the world. So, but let's talk about it. Him. Where did he come from? Well, he's from the alternate timeline where. Do you ever imagine yourself pulls out a gun, shooting somebody when you're working on like the Quark project thing? No, it really didn't cross my mind. But why? Well, in that universe, we met and before the like age of 4, but you pulled out the gun after you realized that something was in my DNA, and you ended up pulling the trigger on my mother, and she died. You disposed her body, and you took me to your like chamber thing, and you start experimenting until the breaking point, putting quirks inside, and like as that's very interesting. As he pulls out a gun and shoots him. No, I'm joking. Sorry. So yeah. So please wait for part 2 to come out. Please leave a like, share, subscribe. Please. Bye.